Last week in Las Vegas, I was attending a conference. It hit me like a rock. I have seen, and I was really inspired from Germay, who is a really, really cool guy, a mountaineer, adventurer, and entertainer. And it hit me like a rock, as I said, what I will talk about. And maybe you ask yourself, why is there some gear on the stage? And I will come to that in a minute. And maybe then I can give you the idea what this thing will be about. So I'm not like Germay is a big mountaineer who's climbed the Everest and other 8,000ers. So I don't do that in that way. So I'm just climbing small mountains, so the top of Austria or something like that. So I'm going to mountains like that one, so it is kind of ambitious, but it's not that much. But if you go to the mountain, you need a lot of gear. If you go on glaciers, you need a lot of stuff. You need your harness, you need rope. So I've put something with me, so I would like to show you what you need. So you have a backpack with around about 20 kilos weight. You have your rope, and then you have your harness, and you have some carabiners. And of course, you have crampons on your feet so you don't slip on the glacier. And so you need a lot of stuff. And this is the same like we are always doing in our everyday job. We need a lot of tools, a lot of gear. But there is always one gear, which is the most important thing. And so it might be, or you could think, yeah, there is always one thing, like the Swiss Army knife, for example. The one and only gear you can use everywhere. And I thought about that. When you go to the mountain, what kind of gear is that you definitely need? Because it prevents you from the death. For example, if you slip on the glacier and fall into a crevasse. And there is one gear which I definitely don't want to lose if I'm on the mountain, especially if you're in a mixed situation with rocks and ice and whatever. So this is that one, the Ice Axe. The Ice Axe is that one and only gear you don't want to lose, because you can do a lot with that very simple thing. It looks very simple. It's a kind of tool, it's reduced to the maximum. You have the tip here, and you can push that hard into the ice, and then it prevents you from falling, and you can climb with that. So you have that one, so you can put it on your arm, and then push it into the rock and ice, and it prevents you from falling down to the ground. So, and another situation, if you slip on the glacier, then you can push that one really hard again into the ice and try to stop you from falling down. And another situation, you have to shuffle on the other side. So you can grab and make something like a point where you can fix your ice screw, for example. So fixed point. And of course, on the other side, you have another tip. And you can use that if you walk on the edge like that. You can push it into, and if you are struggling a bit, so you can lean on it, and it holds you. So this is the one and only gear, and that one you don't want to lose. And the cool thing on that, as I said, it is absolutely reduced to maximum. Simplicity, that's it. So that's it. This is my Ice Axe on the mountain, the one and only gear I really love and I don't want to give away. And that is something I would like to share with you, because what we have to think of, what is our one and only tool? What is that gear that makes us strong, that makes us stand up in the morning and think, hey, yeah, it's great to have that one and go with it and work with it. And I guess, and this is what I like to share with you, I guess Neos is a kind of that gear. It's a kind of that tool we really love, which inspires us and helps us to stand up in the morning easily and have fun the whole day with a cool tool. And there is another thing which is great on Neos and on that one, on the ISACs. It's really focused on the user. And we don't and we shouldn't forget that this is what it is all about. Focusing on the consumer, the customer, on the user, the editor, or on the mountaineer, like that one. It is completely focused on that. And this is a really strong and powerful achievement we have got. Neos is absolutely focused on the end user, on the editor, and this is feedback we always getting. So, and here you see again some pictures with the ISACs, but as I said, focusing to the user, to the end user, using the gear is the most important thing, and we shouldn't forget that, especially when we trying to sophisticate or much more sophisticate, develop cool stuff, then we should always think about that the most important thing is our peer standing directly in front of us and looking to the tool and using the tool. So the user is the most important thing. So definitely focus on the user, and Neos give us definitely the power to do that. It is absolutely user-centric, and it is a simplicity of, or a simple tool, and that is what it makes it great. And that's why we love it. So think of that. The ISACs is the great tool. Absolutely, if you go to the mountains, and if you want to go to the mountains, buy something like that, it's great. And it's also kind of a, it's a gear for mans. And Neos is also a great tool, inspires us a lot, but we should definitely always think that the end user is in the focus, in the center.